The Florida Horse Podcast is presented by the Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association.
Welcome, everyone, to our Florida Horse Podcast. I'm Lonny Powell, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer of the Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association, headquartered in Ocala, Florida. If you are somehow involved in the business, the hobby, or the pleasure of horses in Florida, and specifically here in Marion County, this podcast is a must-watch for you, because part of what makes our Florida horse country, the horse capital world here in Marion County, is a large rural ag and horse-intensive area called Farmland Preservation Area, oftentimes referred to as the FPA. The Marion County horse industry is most fortunate to have a nonprofit watchdog in this space known as Horse Farms Forever. To learn more about Horse Farms Forever and their mission, please refer to our recent November podcast, episode 29, located on our YouTube channel or at FTBOA.com. Today, we have a very special guest who is one of the top experts on the issue. That's Bernie Little, founder and chairman of Horse Farms Forever. We've got a few questions for him, so let's get down to business. Bernie, welcome to the podcast. Horse Farms Forever, your main objective, as we understand it, is to monitor the development threats in an effort to minimize land use conflicts and negative impacts in Marion County, with a particular emphasis on the Farmland Preservation Area. Can you tell us a little more about the Farmland Preservation Area and what the major threat you're monitoring right now, and that represents right now the single biggest threat to the Farmland Preservation Area? Can you tell us about that?
Sure, absolutely. But first and foremost, Lonny, FTBOA was one of our original founding members. And since then, many of your members have also become founding members of Horse Farms Forever. So thank you for that initial support. It gave the organization the credibility 6 years ago to allow us to be where we are today, to act as a guardian for Marion County's Farmland Preservation Area.
You provide, it's not just a symbolic membership. Horse Farms Forever provides a vital service to the horse industry here in Marion County. And I know as a member, the value you receive in benefit from your efforts far exceed whatever dues members are paying. So it's a mutual thank you when it comes to that, Bernie.
Thank you. Marion County is unique in that it has this magnificent farmland preservation area. The county itself is 1.1 million acres. In the Northwest, 200,000 acres are designated as a farmland preservation area, and it has all sorts of special protections inside the comprehensive plan and the land development code. We also in the county have almost 500,000 acres in the Ocala National Forest to the east. And then we have an urban growth area, which is where the infrastructure exists for growth. Housing, transportation, utilities, police, fire, schools, and that's where growth is intended. And so we monitor the farmland preservation area. We read every application every week for anyone that wants to do any kind of development, zoning, anything. Both, we read them for the whole county, but we focus primarily on the farmland preservation area. This county is about 400,000 people, and I know you know this, but a lot of people don't. There's 100,000 horses in Marion County. And we hear from our Chamber of Commerce, our CEP, there's 200 new people a week moving to Marion County. Well, that means there's 50 new horses coming to Marion County each week.
That's incredible.
And so to have horses, you have to have horse farms. And to have horse farms, you have to have farmland. So to maintain this designated horse capital of the world, the farmland preservation area is so critical to the equine business. And again, sometimes people lose sight of it. 1/5 of the economy in Marion County is equine. 1/5 of the jobs, 1/5 of the land is all equine related. And so that's why Horse Farms Forever exists today. And we're trying to create a culture of conservation so we can protect not only this farmland preservation area, but all the other horse farms that exist in Marion County.
Well, based on that being said, again, what the heck is the threat? Why would somebody threaten that area? What's going on? What are we facing?
Yes, so I was quite surprised 9 months ago when one of the county commissioners came to me and said, "How do you feel about the new RaceTrac?" And I said, "Great, we love racetracks." And I think you perhaps had
I thought the same thing, by the way. We're
thing.
thinking about racetracks for horses. We were not thinking
Exactly.
racetrack gas station, or in this case, racetrack gas station on steroids approach.
It only took a minute for me to realize we were talking about a truck stop. And this is the second time that Horse Farms Forever will stand in front of an elected county commission and ask that they deny a proposal to develop inside the Farmland Preservation Area. And this one is, we're deeming it an invasion. And if what the applicant is trying to do is allowed, it will open Pandora's box to intense commercial development on any rural parcel inside the Farmland Preservation Area. So RaceTrac has applied. They've represented by really smart, aggressive counsel, and they have applied to try and use a zoning classification that really is not available for this, and yet they continue to try and do it. They think they can thread the needle and convince the commission to do it. We have a full force campaign in place to create awareness, create education, have conversations, and hopefully that will lead to the county commissioners on December 19th voting to deny this application. We've been real successful so far. The staff report from Growth Services, the professional planners that work for the county, gave 9 different reasons why this was an unacceptable application and should be denied. We had a planning and zoning meeting on Monday night, and the zoning commission voted to deny this application. So the final strike hopefully will be our elected county commissioners on December 19th at their afternoon meeting to vote down this application from RaceTrac.
The type of rezone this RaceTrac gas station metroplex is trying to do, has it ever been done before? Has it ever been successful?
It's a very interesting application. They are applying to change their zoning to something called rural commercial. It's a highly restricted zoning classification that, first off, to use it, you have to be agricultural related. And the county defines agricultural related as being a bona fide farm. Now, how RaceTrac thinks their truck stop is agricultural related, I can't figure out. In the 30 years since a comprehensive plan has been in place in Marion County, no one has ever applied to rezone a rural piece of property from agricultural to rural commercial. This is the first. And so the caution light should go off right away because of that. And in the county, there's 280,000 parcels. Only 20 parcels in the county have this zoning, and they have it for a very specific reason because they qualified for it. RaceTrac does not. So I don't know how they get over that hurdle. I don't know you can't go to second base if you don't go to first base. So I don't know how they go any further with this, but that'll be up to our elected commissioners to decide.
I got to tell you, just the more I hear about this and in our discussion, I got one question. So why in the heck is the RaceTrac Corporation doing this?
Yeah, so we called it a shenanigan, and then our shenanigan became a sheep-nanigan because this is really a wolf in sheep's clothing trying to go somewhere it's not welcome and somewhere it doesn't belong. Yeah. So we're going to focus a spotlight on the shenanigan and the sheep-nanigan and make sure that there's a lot of conversation in the community about this application and a lot of attendance at the meeting on December 19th.
I know I'm a real fan of history, and I look at more as the Trojan horse for other invading developers that seek a precedent and then can flood the farmland preservation area and make it no more. That's why we're talking today, and that's why December 19th is so important. And I would encourage our viewers, whether you're in the horse business or a horse lover or just love our open space here in Marion County and our quality of life, just because there's been good progress so far, including this zoning commission decision. And we have some of the best county commissioners I have known in my entire career all over the country. And these people have the horse industry at heart and the quality of life at heart. But you never assume anything when it comes to business in the public sector, and you do your diligence and you continue to advance your concerns and opposition. And that's why, even though obviously the odds are huge against this non-compliant, the way I look at it, application, everybody should show up and let their voices be heard on their concerns, because as you say, the precedent it could set could be cataclysmic. And I got to tell you, Bernie, I don't know nearly as much as you do about this stuff, but it's called the Farmland Preservation Area. And to me, this project is missing two of those words. Farmland in preservation. All it's kept is area, and an area of concrete. I cannot believe we're even talking about this, quite honestly, but I'm also getting off what we're supposed to be talking about right now. You've talked about some of the implications. Tell me again, or tell the viewers, what kind of hurdles are left? It's the December 19th. Is that the final
December
hurdle?
19th is the meeting, and that'll be the final hurdle for RaceTrac to be in front of our commissioners. I share your feelings regarding our elected county commissioners. They are not only delightful people, they are passionate about what they do, they're passionate about our county, and they fully embrace the importance of the equine industry and farmland preservation. And so they do have, this is a quasi-judicial hearing, so they will be acting with a judge hat on, and they have to make a legal decision whether RaceTrac meets the burden of proof in their application. And I've got strong feelings that RaceTrac does not meet the burden of proof and that this will go in our favor. But I will tell you this, the commissioners read their emails and they pay attention to people that attend the meeting. And so I believe you're going to put up the email address for the county commissioners.
That information will be posted.
If our viewers could send an email to the county commissioners and tell them that you support preserving and protecting the farmland preservation area. And then if you can attend the meeting on December 19th, it's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's a public hearing. The commissioners like to hear from people who actually live here in this county and live in this farmland preservation area. And so anyone that could attend that meeting would be just great.
Well said, and that would be our call to action. And I think that would be the call to action, Bernie, no matter if you were a Horse Farms Forever member, a FTBOA member, a resident of the county, somebody in the state of Florida that's just into horses, either for pleasure, for hobby, or for business. This affects everyone. And so the best call to action that you're recommending is to let the county commission know your feelings, understand they're good people, and they obviously are surrounded by the horse industry, but still they love to hear from their constituents. And at the same time, if you can show up at that meeting and respectfully go to the microphone, that has a big impact too. And you know, I promise you, FTBOA will be there. We have sent a letter. We will be at the microphone, and I expect a number of the other breeds and disciplines and agricultural folks will be there too, as will your members. So that would be our call to action. Bernie, this has been extremely informative, and it's been probably one of the most important topics we've had on this podcast since the last legislative session. Are there any other words that you'd like to leave our audience with before they all see you and hear from you on the 19th of December? The microphone is yours to close.
Thank you, Lonnie. I will say this. 10 words from a neighbor are worth 1,000 words from someone like me. If a neighbor can show up at this hearing on December 19th and speak 10 words to the commission about their particular circumstances, it's so much more powerful than anything that I can say. And so if your viewers, your members are able to be there and speak, it would be just great.
Thank you, Bernie. Good advice. You got hard work ahead. You've had hard work behind you. Horse Farms Forever is doing its job trying to represent the equine interest when it comes to this land development. And we'll see you on December 19th. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
We have a very good and solid county commission and county staff, and they've been defenders of the FPA, and they're certainly advocates of the quality of life in our equine industry here in Marion County and in the Ocala Metro. It is now time for those of us that care to let our voices and feelings be known. This is a big deal to the thoroughbreds, not just to show horses and performance horses or pleasure horses, but it has potential impacts to the thoroughbred farms of note, including Bridlewood, Woodford, Live Oak, Kinsman, and Double Diamond, as well as countless farms of all sizes and horse numbers. So it's time to step up and let the developer and let our good friends, the Marion County Commission, and the community as a whole, and everyone else know how you and how we feel about this non-compliant development that could forever change the future of the Farmland Protection Area and therefore of the horse industry in Florida. I hope to see many of you on December 19th at the County Commission meeting. Once again, fellow Marion County residents and Florida and Marion County horse business lovers and people, it's time for us to all get down to business. And I hope to see you on December 19th.
The Florida Horse Podcast is presented by the Florida Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Association.